Welcome to another Tuesday of the post race, where we analyze who are the winners and the losers of the Grand Prix. So let's go to see who are the winners. Sergio Perez, obviously. It's a driver that usually goes well in Jeddah. We saw it winning last year, for example, in this Grand Prix, right? Thanks to a safety car, once again. And thanks to Max Verstappen starting in the 15th position due to the drive shaft issue in the qualifying. But anyway, winner nevertheless. He was there. He was maintaining the pace of Max Verstappen at the end of the race, with or without the problem of Max Verstappen's car at the end of the race as well. Again, complaining about the drive shaft something. Anyway, a winner nevertheless. He was fighting until the end. Good pace, good everything. I think this was really good for Sergio Perez. The next one is Max Verstappen, clearly. I mean, he started 15th. He has the best car, yes, but still, you have to overtake in a street racetrack, which he was doing. And without the safety car, probably he would have finished in second position. Anyway, probably further behind Sergio Perez, but still, he was able to make a very successful comeback. Really benefited by the safety car, like Fernando Alonso, for example, and some other drivers. But anyway, this is the Aston Martin. Once again, I think they are very good, maintaining in the podium. Perhaps in the racetrack where it was not that good for them, but still they are performing, right? Very different from Bahrain. When I say they, at least Fernando Alonso, we don't know what was going to happen with Lance Stroll due to the issue that he had to win the race, where he had to stop the car. But still, Lance Stroll was able to overtake, for example, Carlos Sainz on the outside of a corner where usually you don't overtake on the outside. Looks like the car is solid. Looks like the car is going to be going very well in every single racetrack. And looks like Alonso is going to be doing many podiums this year, seeing that Ferrari and Mercedes are not there, right? So I think Aston Martin as a whole is doing quite well. Lance Stroll looks like he's being quite strong as well. So let's see in the future races how this is going to be developing. I think Haas as well is being one of the winners, coming back to the podium. Sorry, not the podium, to the points. Sorry. Yes, Lance Stroll was not there, but still they got the points with Kevin Magnussen overtaking Yuki Tsunoda in that end of the race, right? Yeah, the AlphaTauri is not one of the best of the cars. Haas isn't either, but still they were able to beat the McLarens and the Williams and the AlphaTauris, right? So I think it's one of the winners of the Grand Prix, saying that they do not have a car to fight for points. I think they did quite well in this race. And I think Oscar Piastri, I mean, I am having a very good surprise with this guy. There was a lot of good reviews about this guy, saying he was one of the biggest talents after Max Verstappen in the recent years. He is the guy that is making the McLaren work, right? What happened to Norris? What is happening to Norris? I honestly don't know what is happening to Lando Norris. Maybe he has some issues with the car, or he cannot understand the car. But I mean, the car cannot be that different from last year, when last year he was able to really outperform Daniel Ricciardo and be there. This year he is the Daniel Ricciardo, right? And Oscar Piastri is the one who is able to go to Q3, and I would like to see what he could have done during the race if he hadn't had this contact with the Alpine in the first corner, right? But anyway, let's go to the losers. I should have put Lando Norris here, but I want to see first a couple of races to see what is happening with him. But I still think that Ferrari is the number one loser after this race. Carlos Sainz was starting 4th, thanks to Leclerc having a penalty. But still, not only he was very slow, he got humiliated by Lance Stroll being overtaken from the outside in a corner that usually you cannot overtake. He didn't have a good pace, and he destroyed Charles Leclerc's race by not letting him go. Yes, he's looking for himself. Obviously, your teammate is the first one you have to beat, but Ferrari, I think, is falling in the same mistakes once again. They're not going to fight for the championship this year, obviously, but still, if you are going to create this environment of hostility, let's say, it's not hostile, of course not, but still, if Charles Leclerc can see that the team is not fair. I mean, he had a faster pace and everything, and still Carlos Sainz was in front of him. What's gonna happen in the team? Are they gonna do the same mistakes as last year? I don't know. Anyway, they did. Everything has to be said as well. They did have this unfortunate thing with a safety car, but still, I don't think they were gonna be any different as in the finishing positions as if there was no safety car, for example, right? So I still think Ferrari is one of the biggest losers in a racetrack where, by the way, the tire degradation was not so big. They were really not good. Well, Charles Leclerc was. Carlos Sainz wasn't. McLaren, once again, what the hell is happening to this team? They were kind of there at the end of the season last year, and now they are not there. Or at least one of the drivers is not there, Lando Norris, which is supposed to be the faster driver, right? The one who is keeping the team up, the experienced one. Oscar Piastri is a rookie, and still Oscar Piastri is really outperforming Lando Norris. Once again, Oscar Piastri was doing kind of okay until he had some issue, right? Here it was in the first corner, Bahrain was another incident in several laps. But still, I want to see what can Oscar Piastri do with this car, to see what this car can do, right? Because Lando Norris so far cannot do anything. Was Oscar Piastri gonna be able to score points yesterday? We don't know. Maybe. I think he could have. But still, McLaren so far should have been at least fighting with the Alpines or in front of them, and they are not. So this is a really big bad thing. They were bad in Bahrain, they are bad here in Jeddah. Two different racetracks. What's going to happen in Australia, I don't know, but I think the picture might be more or less the same. Maybe McLaren is a team that usually starts to fix stuff after they get to Europe, right? Let's see how the season is going to develop once they get to perhaps Baku or something like this, right? Let's see. And Alfa Romeo. They scored points in Bahrain, they come to this racetrack, and they were quite bad. I think the Alfa Romeos are not very good at high-speed racetracks, but still, seeing Bottas last and Joe and you fighting with the Williams and not being able to overtake the Williams. Yes, Williams usually is a really fast car on the straight lines, but still, you need to be able to get rid of these cars if you want to fight for something. And so far, the Alfa Romeo did not do that, at least in Jeddah. I don't know how this car is going to develop. Australia should be a little bit different, perhaps. They have slower corners. Let's see how this goes. This was a car that was good in slow racetracks last year. I think this year is going to be more or less the same due to the cars being an evolution of what was happening last year, except for Aston Martin. So, yeah, but I still think this car was the biggest disappointment of the Grand Prix. One of the biggest disappointments of the Grand Prix. I was expecting more from them, and they didn't deliver. So anyway, these are my winners and losers of this Grand Prix. I don't know if you agree or not. Leave your comments in the box if you don't. And if you do, as well, leave a comment on the box. Just comment, just give something, right? Anyway, take it easy and see you on Wednesday with the points.